Welcome back to Under the Tree. In this segment, we're going to take a deeper dive into the actual services offered through the Tri-County Office of Aging. We'll talk about the things like in-home support, meals, transportation, and most importantly, how you and your loved one can access these services. If you ever felt unsure about eligibility or where to start, this part of the conversation will help break that down in a real, practical way. Welcome back, Heather.
Thank you.
What type of in-home support are available for individuals who want to age in place?
Well, as I mentioned in the prior segment, all of our programs are intended to promote and preserve the independence and dignity of older adults and adults with disabilities. So, all of our programs touch people in their home in some way, and it can look different ways according to different people's needs. So, for instance, if people needed Meals on Wheels home delivery, that means that there is a delivery driver dropping off food every day. If somebody is looking to stay in their home and they just need a little bit of help, a little bit of support in order to be able to do that, we have some programs available with some in home direct support. That help with like hygiene items and a variety of different things to just help that person age safely in
Yeah.
place. Another way that can look is education. We have, excuse me, I should say education and planning. Under our information and accessibility umbrella, we have a person who's dedicated to help people with their long term planning. And that can include looking at the home, seeing what slight modifications could be made to
Oh,
perhaps, again, help people stay safe, look at their networks, looking at what kind of direct support they have from their friends,
yeah.
their family, and their neighbors, the people that we all live amongst, and seeing which gaps may exist that we can plan for now before they become emergencies.
That's true. We always encourage here at Forester Woods to look before it's too late, right? Get
Yes.
everything planned out
Well, and
so we're not rushing at the last minute.
while we do have crisis support services for people who do find themselves in a
Oh,
crisis, that is, by its nature, not as consistent, not as reliant, and highly utilized. So yes, the more we can help people plan and do it in a measured way that helps them feel secure and just cover some common bases that we may all run into, it just helps us kind of face our longevity with confidence.
that's a great way of looking at it.
Yes.
Can you talk about any nutrition programs or meal services that you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like all of our programs and services, there is a theoretical application with education, learning about food, learning about the best way to eat to manage our diabetes,
Hmm.
learning about how we can like what how we can best take care of ourselves as we try to age as safely and wisely as we can, to be kind to ourselves. We also do have our Meals on Wheels program, which is direct food access and basic needs support. And those meals are nutritionally balanced and geared for general health for the wider
I
population.
really love your Meals on Wheels program.
I do
Not only do
too.
they get a meal, someone's in there checking on them,
That's right.
making sure they're okay. So it's almost a two-prong effect there.
Well, and just in terms of like the humanness
Yeah,
of us.
absolutely.
Food is everything. Food
Yes.
is life, food is connection, food is what we all need in order for any of these other services to exist at all. Because without food, we can't do much.
That's very true. Are there services for individuals with memory loss or cognitive challenges?
There are a lot of support services for caregivers of adults, of family members with dementia, Alzheimer's dementia. And that support for caregivers can be either in person, or there are a lot of online support services, online support groups, and information. Any direct support would be through a program along the lines of My Choice or through our program providers. And so I understand that that would also fall kind of under your umbrella of some of the support services that you provide
Yes.
here.
So we always encourage, again, the My Choice Waiver Program to support those individuals with those needs. So we always direct them right to you, connect with a caseworker, and see if they qualify for those services.
And then they're able to receive those services in the direct fashion through your Forster
For our
Woods.
services, either in our day program or in-home services.
I love learning more. I mean, I know how it works, but I love learning more again how our individual supports and services twine together under that shared purpose and common program structure. So yeah, that's how it looks, is that there is a lot of support in different ways, from the community support of coming together with fellow caregivers, either online, in person, through education, through just knowing that you're not alone, and that a lot of the programs that we may face as family caregivers have information and support and programs behind them that people can tap into.
Yeah, and I think the big thing behind that is let them know the services are there. And that's
They're
one of the
there.
reasons behind this Under the Tree podcast, is
I love
to provide those services that they may not know about.
I love that we're utilizing this platform to hopefully help as many people learn about this stuff as possible.
Thank you. How do families decide which services may be right for them?
You know, I've already spoken a couple times, and I'll tell you again about our incredible information and accessibility services team. There are so many variants out there that people may be needing to maneuver when they're aging, and you know who can be providing care in the home, if they're going to be staying in their home, as they're aging, what their health can look like as we're all in our different stages of life, what thriving looks like as we're at each stage of our life. So what we can bring at TCOA is a team of people who are familiar what all of those different things could look like, and being able to offer the support and potentially advice or direction that families are able to utilize as they are in this person-centered environment, choosing how they're going to maneuver their aging process.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, that's just it. Just that you're not alone. You're not alone in that process, and it can be overwhelming if you
Yes.
haven't tapped into that or you don't know what's available to you. And so I think maybe one of the number one takeaways that I'd like people to know, to have, and to feel is that community's here for them, and we're a part of that community.
I think that's great information, and each individual is different.
Yes.
And for their case, so reach out. As you mentioned, there's team members that are able to access what care might be great for that individual.
Absolutely.
How does someone get started with your service?
Give us a call.
Yeah.
Give us a call. TCOA.org has a lot of great information, and there's a way to send an email to get stuff going that way. But the quickest and most direct way is to call TCOA's team or office. You'll be directed to all those same kind, nice, knowledgeable people that I mentioned before, and they'll be able to help you assess what internal programs they may qualify for, or again, if they don't, maybe we're not the best fit. We are still here for our community, and we'll be able to help people maybe figure out where to go next.
I think that's really important,
Yeah.
that you're able to maybe navigate somebody that may not qualify for the services, maybe put them down the right path.
You know,
where they need to be looking.
Robert, I'll speak on behalf of myself. I'll use myself as an example. I know that when I get overwhelmed or life is a little bit hard, sometimes it's hard for me to ask for help.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard for me when things aren't very clear. Sometimes I'll try to figure out myself, and it'll be Heather against the world. And just picking up that phone can feel difficult, can almost feel like a crisis. So just for people to reach out, for people to ask for help, for people to just check us out, to make sure that people are nice and that they are treated with respect and dignity, and they know that they have us at their back. I think that is something that I'd like everybody to know and again to feel. And using myself as an example, knowing that there are nice people who want to help can be the first part of accessing some of the services and programs that I deserve and need, and other people deserve and need too.
I think that's a great example. I know a lot of caregivers feel like they have to do it all sometimes, and like you
Well,
said, reach out with a phone call. You're there to help them. And,
we're hard on ourselves. We
Yeah.
can be hard on ourselves as individuals, and so yeah, to allow ourselves to relax, to lean back into the arms of our community can be a huge maybe feeling of vulnerability for people, especially if they're already in crisis.
Yeah.
And so I would love to do my best to lift that feeling from people and encourage them that we're here.
That's awesome. What does the first conversation typically look like when someone reaches out to Tri-County?
It can, again, according to different people's needs. Sometimes people are calling with very emergent needs. They are in a crisis. Maybe their electricity is going to be shut off and they need it for their medical equipment. That would be a heightened conversation, and you'd speak to some different people right away to try to rectify and support you right where you're at. If it's more of a planning conversation, it can have a little bit more of a, I would say intentional, process-driven conversation, collecting a lot of your information and setting up some next steps. So really, again, it really looks like different people's needs are different phone calls, but generally people are going to be speaking to our information and accessibility specialists out the gate as kind of a baseline.
That's great. Are there eligibility requirements individuals should be aware of when they're making the call?
Well, they are very program dependent. Caregivers can be any age. They can look like anybody. They could be anybody in our community. So we don't have any age requirements or anything like that for our caregiver support services. For some of our other programs that are that do have qualifiers such as age, some of the qualifiers are 55, some of them are 65. It really depends. And so again, I ask people to reach out. But in terms of the food. We do not have an income guideline requirement for basic need services for our food.
That's great to know.
Because there are a lot of people who maybe on paper look like they're okay,
Yeah.
but they're needing to make some hard choices between medications, utilities, and food. We don't want anybody to be in that situation. Or we have people who are utilizing our congregate dining for social aspect to really plug in and continue to grow our community ties and relationships together. And we would never want to discourage anybody from utilizing our Meals on Wheels congregate dining program in a way that increases socialization and community building.
Oh, no, that's
So,
a
yeah.
2-for-1 right there. That's great.
Exactly.
What are some of the common misconceptions about who may qualify for the programming?
I kind of just touched on one of them, that people need to have a certain income in order to qualify, or that we are only serving people who are who are really struggling in day to day. Our programs serve wide swaths of our community. People look in all different sorts of ways because, again, no matter who you are, where you're from, what your situation is, we're all aging.
Yeah.
And whether we are disabled now, we may be, any single one of us may be at any time. So all of our main effort in all that we do is, again, accessibility, making sure that people know that they're welcome, that our services have an intent that is just beyond, that is beyond how things may look on paper.
Yeah.
Because
No.
we're people.
We are people.
Because we're people,
We are people.
not paper.
Is there a cost associated with the services, and how is that determined?
For the majority of our programs and services, no. And for like an example that I'll give is our our evidence-based programming, some of our education services, people are given the opportunity, or at our Meals on Wheels congregate dining, people are given the opportunity to donate the cost of their meal or to donate the cost of the series. However, those are donations. Those are if people are at a place where they are benefiting from these programs and services, and they would not be poorly affected by supporting them with a donation, then that's very welcome. But if not, then that's
Right.
that's great. Come as you are.
Yeah.
Come as you are. There's never an expectation or any weird vibe if people do not participate in that way.
I think that's great information. There may be people out there listening that may not know that that's
Yeah.
available to them and for free of charge.
No, yeah, you know, I mentioned in the first part of our series that part of my role is telling people about our programs and services and inviting them to participate as is supportive. The other part is to fundraise for those same programs and services to increase accessibility and sustainability. So they're the two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Both of them are important, but the main thing is that I'm inviting people. I'm inviting people to participate where they best fit in, and we all have a place,
Yes,
a place
do.
there.
Yeah, and that's very welcoming. I encourage people again to reach out. What advice would you give someone who may feel overwhelmed trying to navigate these resources?
Advice. The first advice is that I'd give is more of an observation, and that's that it's wild out there. It's scary out there. It can be chaotic and overwhelming. As we're aging, there are a lot of things to consider, a lot of things to plan for that sometimes people aren't ready to put themselves in that mindset.
That's true.
They'd prefer to live in the now, which is also very beautiful to enjoy our lives now. But there is a power, and there is a confidence in looking ahead at what may be and what it can look like and working to build the world that we want to live in, whether that's as a community organization structurally in the community, or it's individually looking at our life and what we would most like to, what we would consider thriving to be, what that looks like for us, what tools and supports are available to help us make that happen. It can be a little bit intimidating to look ahead for ourselves.
Sure.
It could be really intimidating to be an older adult and be thinking about how we can best support our parents. But knowledge is power, community is power,
Yes.
planning is power. And the more we can tap into that together, individually, whatever our path may look like, the more we can thrive. We can enjoy our longevity. We can enjoy our place in our community that we're building together.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
I think that can affect a number of people in the community.
We're all on our way.
We are.
We're on our way.
We sure are. How quick, this is a big question that people are probably waiting to hear. How quickly can someone typically begin receiving these services once they reach out to you and kind of find out what service may benefit them the best?
Great question. Very program dependent. Meals on Wheels has a very quick turnaround when you reach out for services. A program like My Choice with those support services in the home and respite type services, those currently has a 6-month waiting list.
Okay.
So if those are needs that people can see coming ahead, another great reason to reach out in as timely a manner as people see fit, because we want those services to be available when people need them.
Yes, and when I'm in the community, I always make sure to highlight that, you may not need it now, but to get on that waiting list, give them a call, so when you're ready for them services,
Yeah.
they're there for you.
Exactly. There are other programs. I mentioned our evidence-based programs, our education services. Those are on a rotating basis throughout the year, hosted at different community organizations, and they have such a range of really good, timely topics like chronic pain or diabetes, or caregiving for our family members with dementia. A lot more information online at tcua.org. But again, those are on a rotating basis so that if you miss one, that's okay. It's going to pop up again, and you can join in when you need to.
Well, great information. Thanks, Heather.
Yep.
This has been incredibly informative. There are so many resources available that people may not even realize exist. In our final segment, we're going to shift our focus specifically to caregivers. We'll talk about the support available to you, how to manage the challenges of caregiving, and what steps you can take if you're starting to feel overwhelmed. We'll see you next time, Under the Tree.